Paul DeRousselle, his bank account's not tiny anymore. Neither is Big Jeff's. Paul DeRousselle joins us now, the agent for one Jeffery Simmons. Paul, I mean, we all had a nice holiday weekend, but maybe not as good as you and Jeff Simmons. Thanks for the time today.
No problem, man. Can you hear me pretty good?
Yeah, we
yes,
got
sir.
you, man. Appreciate you, Paul.
No doubt, and it was a very Good Friday, right, to say the least.
The goodest, yeah.
Well,
I'm from Louisiana, man, so it just kind of tied into the fun times everybody was having. Everybody was already boiling crawfish, cooking, having a good time. So that news dropping when it did just kind of took everything to the next level, man.
Oh, I know it did, Paul, man. So take us through the process. Like, what was it like? Like, how long had you guys negotiated? You know, just give us some little fine details that you think you can tell us here on air and make us feel like we were there, part of the process.
Hey, man, it's all good. Like I told you when you sent me a message, Blaine, I was happy to hear from you, man. 8-round pick. You know, I used to knock people out with you on Madden. So I was happy.
That's crazy to hear, man. That's funny, man.
I'm telling you, man. I used to play that cover 2, catch you come across that middle. I was trying to knock somebody out.
Yeah, that was the good old days. That's why I'm up here trying to fix my neck now.
No, man. But just it was funny reading a lot of the stuff when you knew that it wasn't true, like being on the inside of it, man. Yeah. Rand got hired. Within 2 days of Rand hadn't gotten hired, he'd hit me up and sent me a text. And like, hey, bro, he and I talked. We made a few jokes. He's a member of Phi Beta Sigma. I'm a member of the greatest fraternity in the world, Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. So, we had some playful banter back and forth, but Rand made it very apparent from the beginning that Jeff was a priority. And, they sent the first offer to us at the Pro Bowl.
Oh,
okay. And it wasn't a little boy offer. There's a certain level of, sometimes people will send insulting offers in the first. That's part of the process, the business, as you know. But Rand didn't do that. And he sent I would say a fairly respectable offer at the Pro Bowl when it dropped. I think the Saturday of the Pro Bowl we had gotten the first offer. And there hadn't been a time between the date of the first offer until when the deal ultimately got done. That Rand and I probably didn't go 2 days without talking in some way, shape, or form. And Chad Brink came around later, and then Marino was around. But it was Rand and I. We were in constant contact throughout the entire 2-3 months. Was a 2-month process of getting the deal done. Absolutely, Rand was good to work with, man.
Yeah, that's what everybody says about Rand, man. I can't wait till I get a chance to sit down and have a conversation with him and actually meet him because people speak so highly of him. I guess one more question before I pass it over to my partner there, Mickey. I guess with the history here, and Rand wasn't part of that, but with LaJuan, Landry, Byard, and the 5-year deals that they got, do you kind of look at this deal as a 5-year deal or more of a 4-year extension? And how did that process, the maturation process of that go, and what were you thinking going into it, and did that kind of change?
Ultimately in the beginning they had offered a 5-year extension, so it would have been 6 years. And, obviously I was well versed in the Titans and how they operated. I mean, the only first rounder that they had extended that there was really something to go off of was Taylor Lewan, and he signed a 5-year extension. And I think his deal was 62% guaranteed money. So, I had done my homework. And for me, I know knowing the type of player Jeff is and knowing his trajectory and where he's headed and where I think he'll be in the next couple of years, I was really adamant about, I say we were really adamant about wanting a 4-year extension. And, that's where we wanted to go. You can look at it either way, right? I think, he's already has $11 million guaranteed, so he has the 5th-year option. There's nothing we can do about that. Yeah. So I think part of the reason we were so adamant about a 4 because it kind of is a 5-year deal if we're being technical. But, we just wanted to get the deal done, man, with something we felt was palatable on both sides and gives him an opportunity to have that long-term security while also the flexibility to, end his career in Tennessee. But if he wanted to end his career after the next 4 years, that could be, he would have made enough money to do that too.
Yeah, man, that was huge there. I have to ask you this, though, because, sometimes it's just the picture makes it look really good, and that is, did you have to get to the point where, even though it may not last very long with other guys maybe signing, that he that you got him signed to the second highest defensive tackle behind Aaron Donald, or was that ever on your measuring stick? You just wanted to get him a really good deal, and it would fall where it may.
I'm not gonna give you the politically correct answer. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Like, if I told you what my first offer was, y'all think I was crazy. I thought we should have got more than Aaron Donald. But that's
right. You got to start high.
How you know that's how you have to start. But I don't. Jeff and I never really talked about that number being second highest, because for me, man, if you get into that, and I think that was one thing a lot of people in the business hit me up about afterwards. They're like a more inexperienced agent, as Paul K would say, a more inexperienced agent may have jumped at that, and gotten into fake money or fluff deals just to look bigger. I think one thing we wanted to do in this deal was to just get Jeff the best deal possible without worrying about. Jeff always says in the huddle before the game, he said, "This is about us." So we just had to focus and worry. We couldn't worry about Quinnen, couldn't worry about that. We just wanted to get the best deal for Jeff and what he wanted. And Jeff didn't never want it to be traded. He didn't want to go anywhere. He just wanted to be paid at a fair amount. And I think all parties, can walk away from the deal. Obviously, we feel like maybe we could have got more. They probably feel like they didn't have to give as much. But I think that's a sign of a good deal when both sides give a little. And, hopefully in a couple of years we'll do it again.
It was a win-win on both sides, that's for sure.
Sure was. Agent Paul DeRousselle, who works with Jeffery Simmons. What changed? Because a lot of Titans fans remember the conversation from November that was in The Athletic where Jeff did the interview, and he basically said, I was told by the team, they want to keep me, but maybe, they don't know where the money's going to come from. I think that just scared the wits out of a lot of Titans fans. So how did we go from, gosh, we looked through the couch cushions, don't have enough money, to you guys having the big news on Easter weekend?
Man, here's what happened with all. I think J-Rob, man, gets a lot of, that comes with the territory. But J-Rob was always a great guy to me, and he and I had been talking early. I reached out to him after Jeffrey had signed with me. I reached out to him just to, do a preliminary talk with him to kind of see where he was. And he just basically told me, he said, we'd love to get Jeff done. He said, but we're going to make it my first priority in the off season next year. We just don't have it right now to pay him. And he also alluded to the fact that all of the other first-round D tackles in the past had to play out their fourth year, from Vita Vea to Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald held out after his third year and after his fourth year to get there. So he had valid points with Kenny Clark. I didn't have much of a leg to stand on. Now, I will tell you, we could have gotten the deal done after year three way cheaper than what happened this year. So, but what changed, I think, was time. Time happened. Nothing drastically changed. We had to get through that season. And once Jeff knew that we weren't getting paid after year three, we didn't even talk about it again. We never talked about it until, Jeff texted me one day and told me J-Rob got fired. I knew before anybody else. And I'm just panicking, wondering who's going to be the next GM. And, man, God doesn't make any mistakes, man. I think the world around it. I'm not just saying that because, he paid us at what he paid us, but everything worked out.
So, Paul DeRousselle, our guest, so there could have been an offer and an accepted offer after year three. Was there something on the table that just –
No.
There was not.
There was an internal number that we had.
Okay.
We would have wanted to talk. And I think, obviously, if we'd have done it after year three, it probably would have been a 5-year extension, because they had 2 years left on the deal at that point. They would probably try to lock us in for a longer time, which is what I kind of thought. But I knew we wasn't going to get a deal after year three, bro. Once J-Rob told me, I didn't even force it anymore, because I know the Titans, and Blaine, you probably noticed the Titans traditionally don't do in-season deals. Mm-hmm. So, once we knew that, it was just like, okay, man, let's just start preparing, evaluating the market, and let's get ready, figuring out our top three priorities, which was always flexibility and guaranteed money. AAV is cool and all, but that was never in our big two.
Man, we're talking money with Paul DeRousselle, the agent for Jeffery Simmons.
Yeah, just a couple more questions there, Paul, and that is, did it ever come about in negotiations because Big Jeff continued to play injured, and then his numbers kind of dipped because he was a dominant player, and then he became just a really good player? Did that factor in like helping you get the numbers where you wanted it, or did they use that against you guys? Take us through that part of it.
They never used it against him.
Oh, okay.
Not at all. I think, now I'll be honest, I think our sack numbers would have been, his sack numbers would have been very high. He had, 6 in the first 7 games.
Yeah, he did.
15.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'll die on the hill that had he not got hurt, we were headed towards DPOY this year, which I think would have significantly changed that price tag. I think we could have gotten a couple of million more, but they never used it against it because his body of work was so fulsome. His first 4 years. Some guys, a lot of these players, you see, they go up in a contract year. Now you can see the spike in the numbers, but Jeff's numbers just were very, very consistent across the board. And people, when they talk about his sack numbers, they leave out the 3.5 sacks he had in the playoff game. I think that should count for something if you're asking me. But he was just a dominant force, and I think if anything, it let them know that they can trust him, to pay him at this level, because he's a guy who could have shut it down. And let me tell y'all, a lot of players make business decisions in this league. Jeff was adamant, and I'm not going to go into details of what he had to do to play, but they have to carry him off the field. Yeah. They would have to. He cried after they lost to Jacksonville, even though I kind of felt the Titans were going to lose in the first round anyway if they were won. I was kind of relieved when the Texans. I hope the Titans fans don't curse me out, but I was relieved when they lost that game to Jacksonville. I was like, all right, but we got out of this season. Let's go get healthy. I was just happy that nothing bad happened to him at the end of the season, but that's just how much he loves the team.
It sounds like, no doubt about it. It sounds like you guys had a really great relationship. Kind of, I didn't know Jeff. I think he hired. Well, how long you've been his agent? Because there was a time there where he didn't have an agent, based off the article Mickey was talking about. So, kind of take us through that part too before we let you go.
His uncle, crazy man. Look, I enjoy talking about him. I get to talk to Blaine Bishop, man. I'm still a fan, bro. I don't know what y'all talking about. I can't wait to tell my daddy about this.
Oh man.
But so I actually met Jeff. At the time I was representing DJ Chark. I don't represent him anymore, but he played for Jacksonville. It was at the Pro Bowl, and I saw Jeff maybe 15 times at the Pro Bowl. We kept seeing each other. Jarrell Casey had taken him with him. Jeff was just a rookie. So we just kept seeing each other. And, we spoke, but nothing ever came to fruition of it. But his uncle is Jason Hatcher, obviously. I met Jason Hatcher at a crab boil, and we were just talking, but never talked about the business. And then finally someone introduced us, and, it was never a promise that I get to be Jeffrey's agent or anything. He's like, I'm going to bring you on. We'll see. He's like, everybody around here work. You got to prove yourself. And throughout that whole thing, it was Jeff's second year in the league. He and I just built a good rapport, never really talking about agent stuff, just never. So we get to May of last year, and Hatcher was like, put on a suit, you come and interview. I was like, what am I coming to interview for? He's like, to be Jeff's agent. So I come in there, Jeff got a polo on, Hat got a suit on, Andre Garrard is there. And, we always had a good connection, man. We're similarly, we both love our community, both love where we're from. And, man, I landed in Jamaica, and he was like, hey, bro, you the guy. It's a text. I can't tell you what he said in the text. He was cursing a lot. But he was basically like, I trust you, mother effer. Like, this your chance to welcome yourself to the league. Like, I believe in you. Because I never had a deal. Like, I've represented people before, but a rookie contract ain't this type of contract.
Right.
But that faith that he had in me, man, I can never repay him enough for it. The only way I can repay him is to do my job, and that's what I feel I have been doing. And the crazy part, I don't know if y'all saw it on Instagram Live, he came on my live, and the first thing he said, he was like, he wasn't even concerned about himself and how much money he got. He said, Paul, what they going to say about you now? Like, inexperienced my ass. Those were his words. I hope y'all don't freak me out, but that's what he said.
We love it.
That's what he said. That's exactly what he said, man. And we do have a really good relationship to the point where he going to text me. I think he's doing something right now, but I'm in Nashville. I just got here, and I'll probably end up staying at his house. That's the type of relationship we have.
Paul DeRousselle, man, the NFL agent of Big Jeff, Jeffery Simmons, man. Appreciate you, Paul, man. This was awesome, man, to get a little insight on negotiations of Big Jeff now with the big deal. Appreciate you, brother.
No doubt, man. It was great talking to you guys, and, any time.
Yes, sir.
Next time.
Next time, for sure. Anytime you're in town. The agent who got the deal done for Big Jeff, at Paul DeRousselle. If you want to follow him on Twitter, you can do it there and keep up with all the latest from him.